Hello, guys. Good morning. Today we're going to work on the summary of the story, The Monkey's Paw, and we're going to focus on the notebook. Okay, so you're gonna need pen, pencil, and your notebook. If you're not ready with your materials, just stop the video and then get ready, and then you come back. Okay, so we're gonna move forward to the summary, and this is basically the graphic organizer we're gonna be using. We're going to be focusing on, I'm going to open it right here, my laser point. So we're going to be focusing on all these aspects of the graphic organizer, okay? The first thing you had to fill up is this, the title and the author. All this is the plot, okay? All this. So the title, The Monkey's Paw, and the author, W. Jacobs, okay? So after you have completed this, you move forward to here, the exposition. You have to complete the setting, the situation, climate, and the characters. Okay? And I'm going to provide you the information, and you have to arrange and summarize as well what I provide, because I'm going to give you a lot of details, and you're going to put what you want to put, but as long as it makes sense. Okay? Then here we have the conflict, and we are going to put the protagonist and the antagonist. And what is the conflict? And here you're going to put the conflict. Then we're going to provide three rising actions, or you can also describe from the bottom to the top what actions are moving forward. So if you're going to put different actions, so you're going to start putting right here, and then you're going to move forward up, upper, and upper, and upper. Okay? So then we go to, after the rising action, we get to the climax, and that is something that we're going to put summarized as well, and then we move forward to the falling actions. Okay, after, remember, the climax is like the switching point, or where everything changes. So then we move forward to the falling actions, and then we have actions, I'm sorry, and then we have the resolution of the story. Once you get the resolution, we're going to complete the theme or the message of the story. Remember that for this, you need to read all the story, okay? This is a very long story, so I decided to summarize it so you can have an idea what it is about, and then you can complete the side activities on the book another day. So let's move forward. What are the characters, okay? The characters, we have Mr. White, Mrs. White, a husband and wife, Heather White, which is the son, and a friend of them, which is Sergeant Major Morris. Okay, the protagonists of the story will be Mr. and Mrs. White. They are the main characters, and who have the most performance during the story. Okay, and the antagonist will be the monkey's paw, which is basically the object that unchain all the bad situations and the curses around the story. So that's why I decided to put it as an antagonist. If you think there is another antagonist besides that, you can add it up, okay? So what is the setting? The setting is late Victorian era, late 19th to early 20th century. Remember, the setting describes not only the place, but the time and also the atmosphere, okay? So the setting is the white family home in the villa, and the road surrounding the house has been described as a torrent within a bog. So this expression, a torrent within a bog, can be translated as in Spanish as in lodazal, un lodazal. Okay, so probably it's like a very dirty place. Pantano, it's also another definition for bog. So it rains throughout the entire story, and it feels a gloomy environment. However, the house still feels cozy and warm, according to the narrator of the story. Okay, now we're gonna move forward to the conflict. And what is a conflict? Okay, this story, it's a man, in this case, Mr. White, who's fighting against the fate. What is the fate? Fate is destiny. So while we move forward in the story right now, you're going to understand why he's defying destiny. Why is he changing the destiny right now? So the plot, what is the plot? The introduction or the basically the rising actions of the story? Well, the story begins when Mr. White and Heather concluding playing a chess game on a rainy day, with Heather remaining as the winner. The plot intensifies when Sergeant Morris comes to the White House and shows them the monkey's paw that grants three wishes. So basically, they're gonna have three wishes if they use the paw. So after thinking a lot, Morris said, okay, this is not something good, nothing good is gonna come out of it, so I better throw it into the fireplace. And Mr. White immediately took it back and he see a lot of potential use in it. So he said, I'm gonna use it. He was doubtful at first, but he said, I'm gonna use it though. Okay? So the rising action also, Mr. White decides to wish for money, currency. In Europe, they use pounds in the past, where they call money pounds. Okay, so he wished for 200 pounds or 200 um, in this case money. Okay, and he received the money afterwards. Okay, so what happened? Okay, the Hever worked in a company and he had a very bad accident and he died. So the company decided to give the family money because of this situation. So they received the money, but because his son died. Okay? So what is the climax of the story? Mrs. White begs Mr. White to wish for her to come back to life. And that is something clear. I mean, it makes sense. It's her son. So after a week, probably, that's why I say afterwards, because we don't have a specific time in the story, probably a couple of days or weeks. Um, it was the middle of the night, and they heard a knock on the door. So basically, Mr. White was very afraid of this knock in the middle of the night. Remember that this is a very well, the genre of this story is horror. So this is a horror story. It's a scary story. So that's why he create well the author or the reader, I mean the narrator creates this suspense around it. So he creates the idea to the reader that probably that knock on the door could be Heather because remember that Mr. White wished for Herbert to come back from death, from the grave, because Mrs. White begged that for him. Okay, so uh, the following action will be that Mr. White panicked and he wishes the noise to stop. Okay, he said, "Okay, I don't want to hear that noise anymore." So that immediately returned Herbert to his grave because he was the one knocking the door. So his wife was very disappointed about it because he didn't think about, oh, it's Heather on the other side. He just thought, I need this noise to stop. It's making me panic. It's in the middle of the night and I don't know what's going to happen. And I think it was for good because he was coming from grave, from de la tumba. So you don't know how he was. Remember, he died in an accident and what he wished was exactly that he has to come back from the grave. And we don't know the condition of his body. Remember, he has been dead for probably a week by then. So she was really disappointed because if it was Heather, um, the third witch sent it back to death. So the resolution is that Mr. White got all the money he wanted to solve his mortgage problem. A mortgage is hipoteca. It's money you ask for the bank to loan you, and if you don't pay, they take your house or your properties or your values or and goods. Okay, but he gets the money after his son's death, so he solved a material issue, but lost something more important instead. Okay, I prefer to lose money instead of losing a son or family member. So that is a resolution. And what is the theme or message? Okay, we cannot defy fate rules over people's lives. Okay, when we decide to intercede in some of the decisions around us, especially as he did, that messes up with people's life. Okay, so the story shows this by attaching a negative after effect to every wish made upon the monkey's paw. So after every wish that Mr. White asked, that was a curse, like una maldición. So everything he asked for or he wished for, after that, he received something bad in exchange, or something bad happens, or negative happens after that. Okay? So what is the narrative perspective? Okay, it is narrated in third person. This means that the narrator has access to the character feelings, thoughts, and emotions, and refers to them as a third person, us, the readers, being the second person, and the narrator, the first person. So, what is the evidence? The usage of him and her. We know that him and her is for she and he, and it's third person. Okay? What is the irony and suspense? Okay, the situational irony, which is something that we expect to happen, but something different happens instead, is that Mr. White's wishes are granted, but the after effect is something unexpected by the reader. We didn't expect this bad things happen afterwards, okay? And the suspense is created after every wish is made because the reader knows that there is a curse upon it, and that makes the reader anxious about what's coming up next, okay? Remember to copy and use the graphic example or graph in or graphic on your own. Okay, you can do your own graphic, but I need a graphic. I need to see colors, I need to see charts, shapes, or whatsoever. You can use the graphic I'll show you at the beginning of the video, or you can use your own graphic and shapes. Okay, thank you very much and have a great day. God bless you guys.